Hi, this is Chris. I'm doing my week one discussion 2 for ITL 520. And in watching the videos that were assigned to us and just watching those teachers be able to integrate literacy into their content areas, I saw a lot of ways that they were able to implement the literacy. Some of those ways being most of them were asking meaningful questions, kind of like guiding the conversation or guiding the thought process for their students instead of just giving the instruction or just relaying information to them and expecting them to understand it. They kind of paused for a second and asked questions to help the thought process for each of the students, and that and helped enhance the listening skills for those students in those classes. Another thing that I saw was the social emotional skills that they were able to enhance through speaking and listening, and this is just through conversations and relationship building between the students. Whether that be them in small groups or turn to a partner and discuss some of the things that we've been learning, and help that partner be able to help them understand or maybe hear in their way how they're understanding it. And sometimes when students are speaking to each other, they're able to understand the content a little bit more than it be from whether it be from the or in replacement of the teacher just being able to tell the student. Sometimes the student is a better teacher than the teacher. Another thing that I saw was for speaking, it was asking students to define terms in their own words. So instead of going to the back of the glossary and looking up what these terms mean and then just reading it off and not remembering it at all, the teacher asked them to recall what that term meant so that it is able to stick into their memory a little bit more. And lastly, one last strategy that was used in one of the classrooms was a word wall. And these are just words all up over the walls, and they help being able to see these words every single day helps the kids be able to better recognize these words. And when they look at the word, they don't just see the word, they remember a definition that goes along with it instead of it just being in the book. Having it around the classroom allows the students to be able to learn that word every day. So how would I make some of these opportunities better for some of the students in those classes? I think one way to allow more diversification or more UDL for the students would be to allow student choice in some of the areas where they need to display their knowledge. So whether that be they're really good at writing and they want to display their knowledge with writing, or a presentation or art, something like that. I think allowing student choice would allow more engagement from the student and want them to learn the subject a little bit more. Now I'm just going to go into some of the ways that I would integrate literacy into physical education. And it was a little difficult to think about just because physical education, you don't really think about reading words or writing stuff down. But I was able to come up with a few things and to help enhance with listening skills. I think listening is going to be the one that's going to be in the most focus for physical education, because there is so much instruction from the teacher, whether that be instruction for safety or for rules of what we're going to be doing for the day. This could also be positive talk or praise from the teacher saying that the student is doing a great job, or it could be between the students, say in a team activity where they're talking about team tactics. So again, those were some of the attributes that we would use to help with our listening literacy skills. One of the things that we would use, now I'm going to move on to speaking. So to help with speaking, this is another one that we will see in PE quite often, just because sports require communication. And some of the ways that we will enhance our speaking skills will be to ask questions to receive answers. So a teacher asking questions to the students, and the student is required to then speak back to the teacher and kind of relay with their understanding of what was just instructed to them. It could also be a question that recalls instruction from a previous day or recalls content from a previous day. And then within the students as well, same thing as the listening, it also requires speaking between the students to help plan strategies with one another during sports activities. Some of the more difficult ones that I was thinking of, moving on now to reading and writing. For reading in PE, I think to understand the vocabulary for physical education terms, whether it be exercises or just fitness terms in general, or biological terms, it would be just to be able to see the words. So having opportunities for the students to see the words, whether it be like a poster board, in locker rooms or something like that, where they can see these words instead of just hear the words from the teacher. I think it'll help the relationship with the word stick better into their head so that they understand exactly what that word means. Okay, moving on now to writing. This is my last one. I think it would be great for students to have opportunities where they have an assignment where students can create their own games. So they would have to write their own games, which would require them to write the rules for those games. We could also have opportunities for them to be able to write the safety precautions for some of these exercises. So that might be some sort of summative assessment at the end of a unit where we just got done with say squatting or lower body exercises, and in some of these exercises they need to be able to write down some of the safety precautions for some of these exercises, whether that be on a flashcard or it's a multiple choice test. Something like that would be great for writing assignments. Probably more of the writing on the flashcard instead of a multiple choice test, since that doesn't require writing at all. That's more reading. Okay, those were my ideas for physical education, and thank you for watching.